Netflix's new series Black Doves unfolds with increasing complexity. The Chinese ambassador to the UK dies unexpectedly, and his daughter Kaiming mysteriously disappears. Kaiming had previously been in contact with Jason from the Justice Department, who was subsequently assassinated. Jason, it turns out, is the lover of Helen, the wife of Defense Minister Wallace. As a top spy in the intelligence organization Black Doves, Helen is willing to risk exposing her identity to investigate her lover's death. Looking at herself in the mirror, her thoughts drift back to 10 years ago. Her name was Daisy then. Despite dropping out after high school, she was fluent in multiple languages and had received an acceptance letter from Cambridge University. With such outstanding abilities, securing a translation job at a large company should have been easy. However, due to her mother's multiple remarriages and a stepsister serving time in prison, interviewers rejected her job applications. Instead, they provided her with another contact, her first introduction to Black Doves. Reed, the leader, informs her that Black Dove's primary business is collecting intelligence and selling it to the highest bidder, regardless of their identity. They need someone like her, quick thinking with an exceptional memory. Upon joining Black Doves, Daisy changes her name to Helen. Her first mission is to approach Wallace, then a minor official. Helen's excellent social skills quickly captivate Wallace, and they end up at a hotel. While Wallace sleeps, Helen steals confidential files from his computer. Black Dove sends an assassin, Sam, to assist and protect her of their first encounter. Helen realizes she left her mother's heirloom lighter in the hotel room and insists on retrieving it. Wallace, showing no displeasure at Helen's sudden departure, proves himself a true gentleman. This leads Helen to stay by his side, even bearing 2 children. However, she does this solely to gather intelligence. Her true love is Jason. The suspect in Jason's murder, Elmore, is a former Special Forces sniper turned professional hitman. At Elmore's apartment, they find no one. Only a Christmas music box is spinning, and everything seems normal. Helen senses something amiss. Would a professional assassin with a military background be careless enough to leave clues? Suddenly, the music box stops, and the room lights begin to flicker. The next moment, their first investigation ends in failure, and they part ways to avoid police attention. Helen returns home to find her children asleep. A mysterious figure sneaks in, but Helen's keen senses detect the intruder. Constrained by the gun and concerned for her family upstairs, Helen temporarily complies. It's Elmore, who claims his employer tasked him with finding a hidden camera device, possibly in Kaiming's possession. The employer also mentioned that the defense minister's wife, Helen, might know Kaiming's whereabouts. Helen asks if he killed Jason, receiving an affirmative answer. Helen is instantly furious. The employer told Elmore everything about Helen except she is a good fighter. In addition, she was also specialized in torture.
I have a peeler, I have skewers, I have a kettle, I have a NutriBullet. And so help me God, I'm gonna shove little pieces of you into it and turn you into a fucking smoothie. If you don't start talking.
Elmore reveals that the employer only gave him Jason's photo and allowed him to name his price, knowing nothing more. To avoid disturbing her family, Helen takes him to a warehouse. Sam, having breakfast, encounters trouble. Lenny, the leader of an assassin organization, approaches Sam with 2 girls in tow. One of them is Williams, one of the assassins who had posed as a policewoman that night. At the time, they had merely accepted an anonymous contract, intending to earn some extra money. Williams' former partner had just had his head blown off by Sam, and now she has a new partner, Eleanor. Sam, formerly one of Lenny's assassins, had left after failing his last mission. Lenny demands he complete the task, which Sam firmly refuses. Lenny then threatens the life of Sam's ex-boyfriend, Michael, causing visible distress to Sam. The target remains Hector, now a small-time drug lord, whom Sam previously failed to kill. Lenny leaves Sam no choice, threatening to send Williams to eliminate Michael if he doesn't comply. Meanwhile, Wallace grapples with the Chinese ambassador's case, suspecting American involvement.
If the Yanks killed the ambassador, start digging a bomb shelter.
Black Doves, more efficient than the sluggish British government, has already gathered new intelligence. Of the 3 victims that night, Maggie and Kaiming were schoolmates. Philip had written 12 salacious articles exposing Kaiming's decadent nightlife. Jason had called Kaiming 5 times before his death. Everything seems to revolve around Kaiming. While researching Kaiming on social media, Helen notices Police Chief Stevens' comments on her disappearance. She realizes Steven Yarrick's initials match the SY Philip mentioned to Jason. At Jason's memorial service at the Defense Ministry, Helen plants a listening device to monitor Wallace and Steven's conversation. Wallace mentions Philip contacting him about a video involving Steven, suspecting Steven of covering up the truth about the Chinese ambassador's death and assassinating Philip. Steven denies everything. Late at night, Sam arrives at Hector's drug warehouse, only to find evidence of a fierce battle. In a left-behind camera, he sees Kai Ming. Amidst gunfire, Hector shouts about the Clark family's intrusion before fleeing with Kai Ming. The Chinese ambassador's daughter, sought by everyone, is in the hands of drug dealers.